He's like a river. He's like a country to be explored in and of himself. And but yeah, he was like he came out of the ground just like a potato. He's completely natural. Yeah, sure, I love those tunes.
Welcome back to the Water Left Frog podcast. We are in season 2, and this is the second episode of the season. Tonight, we'll be doing an overview of the first album that I put out on iTunes about 1.5 to 2 years ago. For the longest time, I've been recording music. It goes back all the way to around 1991. I did a cassette for the very first time, and that didn't really go anywhere, just something to pass out to friends. And then in 1994-95, I put out my first CD with the Daniels. And at that time, you had to record an album, then you had to go through the manufacturing process of putting a CD together. So when I did the first Daniel CDs, we bought 1,000 CDs that were printed, but then we had to physically put the CD in the jewel case, go get the printing for the insert and the back, and then put all of that together to make a package and a product, much less try to get it shrink wrapped somewhere. And so one of the strategies I did was I just made a list of all the record stores in the St. Louis area, and I started just taking a day and driving around, dropping off a stack of CDs. It was not really effective. Out of the 1,000 CDs that I had printed, I'm pretty sure there's a box of about 400 sitting in my basement. The amount of money, time, and energy to just do that back in the 90s was pretty astounding. Today, it's a lot easier. And so when I realized about 1.5 years ago I could put my music out there with very little effort, I got very excited. And that leads to the first song of this project. The project itself is called 5 Songs. I kept it a very basic title, nothing super special here, but I really do love this first song. And this first song is called Stick Figures. The song was written in 2019, prior to the start of the pandemic. It's strange to think that the pandemic was just 5 years ago. What a simply weird time that was. Creatively, it was a great time for me. I was doing a lot of writing and recording leading up to the pandemic, and this song was one of the highlights from that time. It's a piano-based song, meaning it was written and conceived on the piano. I was doing exercises on working with partial chords, mainly thirds, to see if that influenced the melody writing process. This turned into a song rather quickly, as opposed to a piano and melody writing exercise. The structure for the song came together first, and then the lyrics were added. Normally, I tend to write the lyrics and the melody together, but this time, the game of thirds on the piano took up most of my brain space. On this recording, we recorded in Reaper. Tucker Parsons is on drums. Gabby from Sister Lillian's Bell is on background vocals. Fete Osabo is on bass. He's been a dear friend for a long time, and while he lives in New York, we still keep up regularly. We recorded this track by sending files back and forth. I do love technology that allows me to record with my friends in far-off places. This is called Stick Figures.
She tells me about rainbows as if I couldn't see them, and dreaming like the war before the storm. I'm alive when we talk. Phone off the hook and the time it took as the voice trailed on. She takes the ashes from my head, so sins are worth the wait and go. How many times until she finally pulls the trigger? The room's sparked in the dark. I got her and she has me. We both know that time will tell. We are both waiting for the time to tell. We're like stick figures on the windowsills, painted black and silent, using money nobody wants, and bargain like these over this love. Waiting till the taillights drift off, wait for all the lights to go dark. draws a face on the glass, but I can see her eyes don't look right. The door still scrapes and I'm out of place. You can tell by the silence in here, blowing the cigarette smoke. And through the cracks, the back roads don't know either of us. We're both lost. We're like stick figures on the windowsills, painted black and silent, using money nobody wants, and bargain like thieves over this love. Waited till the taillights drift off, wait for all the lights to go dark, wait for our lives and the smoke to clear, until the time is just enough. The music won't play with the battery dead, breathing only gets louder. We're both afraid the angels will judge us. There isn't time for us. We're like stick figures on the windowsills, painted black and silent, using money nobody wants, and bargain like thieves over this love. Waited till the taillights drift off, wait for all the lights to go dark, wait for our lives and the smoke to clear, until the time is just enough.
This next song came from the same writing session that gave me the song Candy Heads, the song that started off last week's podcast. While this isn't directly influenced by the Velvet Underground like Candy Heads was, this shares the same DNA that was in the air during the writing session. The song started off as being called Under the Gun. By the time I got into the studio and started recording the song, the vibe was completely different. I didn't want the song to be as dark as what it was. So we took a break. I pulled the lyric sheet back, started changing the lines to see what felt right. That doesn't happen a lot with my writing. I pretty much leave things as they are, minus some minor tweaks if something isn't flowing. What did Allen Ginsberg say? First thought, best thought? Yeah, that didn't work in this situation. When I came back in and started the song again with the band, the new lyrics definitely helped. It didn't take long for us to get a solid take of the song. The Horns of Plenty are featured on this track. They are a brass group that I hire from time to time to help out when I can't convince my own son to spend all day in the studio with me. They are 4 guys that sound like a marching band. Huge, big, bright sound. This is called Under the Sun. This is called Under the Sun.
The place we played, the sand and winds were sleeping. Toes pointed to the stars and we were singing. The backs on the earth. The skies above don't pay us any mind, but the secrets drift on by, one at a time. We used to dance barefoot under the sun. You were older than me. We were thick as thieves under the sun. You sat with me and you held my hand before the rains came and the lightning began. In the distance, I could see them fireworks. Over my guitar in the dark of the night, playing closer to 5, trying to make everything alright. We used to dance in the dark on the river sandbars. You were bolder than me, and I told you to kiss me under the stars. Older now, but still young in my mind. The torn photograph, the notes I find that days are shorter now. But for a time, we used to dance barefoot under the sun. You were older than me, we were thick as thieves under the sun. We used to dance in the dark on the river sandbars. You were bolder than me, and I told you to kiss me under the stars.
I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Quiet Man. It's a John Wayne film from 1952. It's one of his non-Western films. The premise is that John Wayne's character, Sean Thornton, is an American who moves to Ireland and buys his family's old homestead. He's escaping something, and in the process, he falls in love with one of the locals. It's one of my favorite movies. Dancing for the First Time is the next song up, and there are three main influences for this song. The first is the movie The Quiet Man. The second is the Australian band My Friend the Chocolate Cake. And lastly, my grandparents on my mother's side. My grandparents played a big role in my life growing up. From weekends in the country, to hearing war stories late at night around a campfire, to saying the rosary as we drove the back roads home from a weekend getaway. They served as surrogate parents for myself and my cousins on multiple occasions. The lyrics of the song are an imaginary retelling of the first time that they met. This is a story of the people of the greatest generation, people like my grandparents, how they met, fell in love, and then were rushed off to a war that saved the whole world from certain doom. Their sacrifice is unimaginable in today's world. And lastly, My Friend the Chocolate Cake is one of my favorite bands. The instrumentation of the song was approached as if I were lucky enough to have them play with me. They didn't play on this, because I don't know any of them personally, but the musicians I had on this track were extraordinary regardless. On violin, we have Mark Kirk from Nashville. We have Simon Volinsky from Ukraine on accordion. We have Simone McCarthy from Germany on backing vocals. And then my typical house band and go-to folks, Tucker and Gabby, to round out the piano and the drums. I was able to do this song by sending the song off via email to the folks in Europe. These guys are all session musicians who do this kind of work all the time. They were great to work with and helped me create a sound I couldn't have done on my own. This is Dancing for the First Time.
Sawdust on a wooden floor, turning under the circle lights. The sound of an old-time band, trumpets, bass, and drums. And I scratch my head as she takes my weathered hands. A slow, impatient number, something soft and lasting. Whoa, whoa. She demurs at my whispered kiss, says Rome wasn't built in a day. With her finger on her lips, she makes me wait. Whoa, whoa. When we first met, you smelled Irish and rough. Thieves in the twilight and the soft, slow hum. I prayed at the church, Mother Mary came for me. Dancing for the first time with you. Hear the clinking of the bottles, the trash cans drugged across the floor. For this moment, I can't tell if she likes me or not. She wonders if he's worth the work. Can't tell if he's ever read a book. His hands are strong and slow, and that smile's charming. It's charming as hell. When we first met, he smelled Irish and rough. Thieves in the twilight and the soft, slow hum. I prayed at the church, Mother Mary came for me. Dancing for the first time with you. Oh, you soft, slow hum. Flowers at my feet and the slow walk home. I can't remember this without your help. So sit with me and take a load off these feet. The roses hanging in the sun. Oh. First met, he smelled Irish and rough. Thieves in the twilight and the soft, slow hum. I prayed at the church, Mother Mary came for me. Dancing for the first time with you.
I wrote this next song using an open tuning on the guitar. I've been a fan of Joni Mitchell since I was a teenager. One of the things I took from listening to Joni's songs is that she uses a lot of open tunings. I kept trying to learn some of her songs, and each time I tried to learn one of her songs, it eluded me because I didn't understand why I couldn't make the sounds that were on the record on the guitar that I had. Once the internet came out and I started looking up songs on the old online guitar archive, which used to be called Olga, I started seeing that her songs had these different tunings. This got me curious, and so I started to use open tunings to write songs. The song was recorded around the same time as the other songs in this project. We've got the horns of plenty playing the brass parts, but we also have the strings of plenty, which are also featured on this song. This is one of those rare recordings where I had both ensembles booked for the song. We actually hired out one of the local chapels for recording the string parts. Fitting 8 players with moving elbows requires space. I'm a little disappointed that the great reverb from the chapel gets lost in all the mix. If people only knew how much work went into these recordings, they'd be astounded or shocked. I spend a lot of time and a lot of resources to get this stuff to the level that it is. And I'm really proud of it. So I'm glad to share this song with you. This is called Belly Secrets.
Red hair falling across her face, painted fire, devil's disgrace. No one knows these secrets, me and you. Under the trees and a blanket of dark, taste of honey, bare skin and tattoo mark. I was a witch making a sacrifice. No one knows this, me and you. Breath, tree swings, dusty water, angel cigarettes. I held your body in my hand. No one knows this but me and you. Belly's secrets, whispering upside down. Lie to me, take me down. Hold your lips open and let me drown. Belly's secrets, whispering upside down. Phoenix fire, waters touch my face, moving slowly, the moon's precious grace. I die naked, disappear, waiting for you. But no one knows this but me and you. Lie to me, take me down. Hold your lips open and let me drown. Belly's secrets, whispering upside down. Lie to me, take me down. Hold your lips open and let me drown. Belly's secrets, whispering upside down.
The last song for this project is called Monsters Be Gone. I considered this song a throwaway song for a long time before I recorded it. I just didn't have a lot of faith in it. I second-guessed myself on whether to record it, whether to even bring it into the studio. And then when I did, other people started listening to it and were like, we don't hear what you hear. This is a good song. Let's go forward. So the Horns Aplenty added their parts. Tucker is on drums, but then I'm doing everything else. Gabby's playing organ, if I remember correctly. We've got Marvin and Charity Hart on the background vocals. They're seasoned singers from one of the church groups that I work with from time to time. I'm glad I didn't listen to myself on this one because it actually ended up being one of my favorite songs on this project. This is called Monsters Be Gone.
Japanese sunrise in the early morning, natural time laid inside. Superstitious mother lay her hands on her head. Hands for survivors to this tradition. Little boy hero, Sunside 13. Imagine he paints his way to school. And hounded by bees, he scatters his dance. Step on a crack, break a mother's back. Broke the bees, go home. No tragic ending today. Monsters under my bed be gone. Safe because superstition told me. Superstition never lies. Secrets and stones and lost winds to the day. Prayers for a sinking ship to be free. Women something to be saved. So Rogue, please go home. No tragic ending today. Monsters under my bed be gone. Safe because superstition is over. Superstition never lies. Never lies.
Well, that wraps up this week's episode of the Water Left Frog podcast. I want to thank all the musicians who played on this particular project. There were a lot of folks with a lot of heavy hands, and that was so appreciated. We got some good recordings. I'm really proud of the work that's been played here today. Also, big thanks to the group at Center Neptune for helping edit out the ums and the ahs to make me sound smooth and professional. Next week, we'll be back with another episode, and then we've got about 2 more episodes for this season of the Water Left Frog podcast. Big thanks to Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe, our legal advisors. Take care and have a great week.